everyone. I guarantee you the word cunt will not be used in this video as many times as it was used in this movie. Let's talk about Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman. Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman has an ensemble cast. It stars Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Henry Golding, Colin Farrell, Hugh Grant is in it. And it's the story of a mobster, a drug lord, who is trying to get out of the business. He's a huge weed seller. He's trying to sell his business. While that is happening, someone's trying to cut in on his turf. That would be Henry Golding's people. And we have movie people. One of the main things about this movie is about 75% of the movie is just Charlie Hunnam and Hugh Grant sitting down and talking to each other. Hugh Grant is a reporter who is explaining to Charlie Hunnam's character, who is the right hand of Matthew McConaughey, who's the drug lord, and he's explaining to him everything that's going on in the movie, at least from his point of view. This movie is a Guy Ritchie movie, and it is a huge throwback to his first two movies, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and Snatch. And it is a really good return to form. This movie is quick, it is very quirky, it is very funny. It never stays still because of the framing work between Hunnam and Hugh Grant. You'll always see parts of the story being told, and then Hugh Grant coming back and saying to Charlie Hunnam's character, and then Charlie's Hunnam character, who's very annoyed at Hugh Grant because he is a reporter, and it's like a verbal game of chess. And at the same time, you're seeing the events happen, and even at one point, you see an event happen, and then they say, wait, that's not how it happened, did it? And it has a lot of those moments in it. I will say Hugh Grant is absolutely... If you thought he was chewing up the scenery in Paddington 2, this year he's doing it even further. He is absolutely reveling in this role as a reporter who is trying to figure everything out and who's also trying to con everyone and anything. This is a movie that, because it is about the mob, is about one-upsmanship. Whether the drug lord is trying to get a one-upsmanship on the people who are coming in on him, Hugh Grant trying to get one-up on McConaughey's people, and Charlie Hunnam's character is more or less the stable character, which is kind of interesting because when I first saw the trailers, I thought he was the main character, and he kind of is, because he has more screen time than anyone else. And in case anyone didn't know, I thought he was really good in this movie. It was a really different role for him because while he is a gangster, he wasn't the lead. He was the right hand. So he was kind of like, there would be scenes with him and McConaughey where he would be like, I don't want to do this. And then McConaughey, you have to. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go do it. And so it was a very different character for him to play, especially since being the lackey. I'm a huge Sons of Anarchy fan, and he's more or less the reason I saw this movie. And it was well worth it. I think the movie is very humorous. Matthew McConaughey is very vicious in this movie. Whether he has to be serious or he's just trying to take it easy and explain people without explaining people what's going on. And that's one of the things what you can do when the framing device is people telling the story to each other, because it's an easy way for the audience to be told while making it seem natural. Especially once you get to the ending of this movie, you will understand that, as characters will tell each other, oh, this was what was happening, and then you go, ah. The only bad thing I can really say about this movie is Henry Golding is still a fucking block of wood. I didn't like him in Crazy Rich Asians. I didn't like him in A Simple Favor. He was decent in this movie. He was probably the weakest actor of them all. Also, there's a lot of English humor in this movie, so if you're not up on English slang, you'll be left not getting the joke a couple times. Also, you might be slightly offended by the fact that they use the word cunt a bunch, I believe almost 24 times. And they write it on the screen at least 4 times. Also, I can see some people be offended by some of the verbiage that McConaughey uses towards Henry. It didn't bother me. It didn't affect me. I realize this is an English movie and it takes place in England, and these people are gangsters. What do you want to do? They're gonna say some outlandish shit. I really liked Colin Farrell is also in this movie as a guy who is he runs a boxing gym for kind of like the underprivileged people in society. He is really hilarious when he's introduced, and he serves kind of a background focus in the movie, but I think the movie's very well told. It's very well paced. It always keeps you guessing, and I really like that. I think all the lead actors did a really good job in keeping, and also it's really eclectic, so it's one of those movies where you really can't stop because you'll miss vital information. I mean, yes, it does those things at the end where it will say, aha, this is what was really happening, or something like that. But other than that, this movie's really good, especially for coming out in January. I was really impressed by this movie. I was really impressed by Guy Ritchie going back to his roots, to Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrel, Snatch, with the way he told the story. And it seems like the more easier way to tell, that he likes to tell stories, in all honesty. And, all the quick talking, it always keeps my interest. I never felt once bored in this movie. So I'm going to give The Gentleman an 8.6. I know this movie was already released in England a couple weeks ago. I know I'm going to have to see it again with Jeff. Is anyone else going to see this movie? If you have seen it, let me know in the comments below. And I will be seeing you later this week with another review. But yeah, Gentleman, really good. Cunt.